Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about the problem of training hard and what a lot of newer lifters think training hard means. And I don't mean the whole bodybuilder intensity techniques and extended sets and things when I'm talking about training hard. I'm talking about your ability to focus, your ability to stay tight, to push through to limit sets without your form breaking down, without losing your tightness, and without losing your focus. Because that's one of the things I've had to even clients and other people who are like, well, I train really hard. And then you watch when they train hard. To them, training hard means when they do a set on the bench press, they psych themselves up and jump under the bar and flop around and get in a way that's not really tight. And they do stuff like just dive bomb every rep on the bench press. They get psyched up, drop the bar out of the J hooks, don't set up correctly, don't have focus, and let the bar just drop and hit their chest, and then do a loose pause at the bottom because they lose all their tightness, and then drive it up with the bar towards their face and repeat it till they almost get pinned. And then think that they have to add weight every session when they do that. That's what a lot of people who are less experienced, they think training hard means. Okay, and a lot of them are like, well, why train hard? And it's like, well, you don't really train as hard as you think you do. Meaning being able to deal with discomfort, being able to stay tight. Because I'll get, again, same thing, you'll get clients and other people who will say, well, I train really hard, but then you give them a lift that they really find uncomfortable. Like, I don't really like that lift. Might be a good morning. Like, it feels awful when I get to rep 8 or 9. Or their box squats, or the way you have them do a lift, they're like, it's extremely uncomfortable. And it's like, well, any big lift is going to be uncomfortable. Watch how I set up even on these incline benches. Do you think that's comfortable? Do you think squeezing my shoulder blades together as hard as I can and driving my feet into the ground for an incline bench, do you think that's comfortable? And notice I'm doing it without psyching myself up, guys. I'm coming over, getting as tight as I can and maintaining tightness through an entire set, and then pausing on the last rep because it's getting hard. Okay? Training hard is about maintaining technique through difficult sets. That's how I define training hard, at least in my definition. And I find a lot of people who think they're training hard really aren't. They're really not training hard. Then they're not making gains. They're not getting bigger. They're not getting stronger. And it's because their idea of training hard is to psych themselves up before they do a lift. Okay. Training hard is about being able to maintain tightness all the way through limit sets. It's about your form not breaking down because you are focused. You are focused all the way through to the end, till you get to where you don't have any more reps in reserve. Usually for me, like on all these incline benches, as an example, when I know I only have maybe 1 rep left in the tank, I pause with it on my chest and then drive it up. But notice my form never breaks down. We stay tight all the way through. The scapula stay retracted. And that hurts, guys. Retracting your scapula is uncomfortable. Getting your upper back tight on a barbell squat is uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. Pulling yourself in tight on a deadlift so that you don't jerk and you have to pull because you're squeezing the bar as hard as you can. You're pulling yourself in tight and then pulling. No jerkiness. Okay? Jerking and flopping around is not training hard. Trying to lift big weights without focus is not training hard. Okay, you're just getting psyched up. You're just getting psychologically aroused. You're actually getting an emotional attachment at that point to a lift. Okay? And when you have an emotional attachment to a lift, you're no longer training hard. You actually start training like an idiot. And that's true of everybody. It's true of everybody. And you can tell when a lifter is scared of an exercise. Okay? Because they have to psych themselves up to perform it. They're scared of it. It's not training hard. That's becoming emotional. Becoming emotional. And your eventual goal as a lifter needs to be to detach from the emotion and stay in your head when you lift. Okay? Because when you flow like water, as Bruce Lee says, you're in perfect control. That when a set becomes hard, or even like when I've grind some of those deadlifts there, instead of having an emotional attachment, you grind through while maintaining technique. And we maintain technique because we can maintain tightness. And when you're emotional, you lose tightness. Okay, when you're emotional, you lose tightness. When you lose tightness, form breaks down. We all have different definitions of it, but that is what I define as training hard. The ability to perform limit sets, I don't care if they're a 1 rep max or a 10 rep max, without any mistakes. In other words, when you are really focused correctly and you maintain tightness, people watching can't tell that that was your 10 rep max. Because a lot of these lifts that people are seeing here, these are my 10 or 12 rep maxes. Okay? These are maxes. I wouldn't be able to do another rep. But you can't tell that watching always, can you? Because focus matters. Tightness matters. Same thing, watch these Pendlay rows. There's no looseness. We never get loose. Yes, the weight is still unloading on the floor. You maybe can't even hardly tell that, but it is. The full weight's unloading on the floor. We maintain tightness. Your whole body is ratcheted up like a big spring all the way through a set. And we take things to 1 rep in reserve, or in some cases to failure. But form should never break down. Okay. There's a difference between what people perceive as training hard. There's a difference between being focused versus being emotional. It's a difference. And hey, there was a point in my life where I used anger. I used to be a very, very angry lifter. In fact, that came up in the comments the other day when someone was talking about people will come over and say stuff about what he was lifting or his weight or whatever. It's like, I've never had that happen in my whole life in a gym. I've never had anybody come over and tell me I was lifting incorrectly or that weight was too heavy or try to imply they were stronger than me or anything like that. I've never had that, guys who were weaker. I think it's because for me, I was always an angry lifter. Just scream at the weight. Just scream at a weight, F you, I'm not afraid of you, and walk over and lift it. And I'd scream it, I didn't care. But that's more of emotional lifting. I found I get better results staying in a focus zen-like state. Where you take limit sets to where the form doesn't break down on the last rep when you know that if you tried one more, you get pinned. Okay? That's training hard. It's again a perfect example, pressing to pause it. Do a rest pause on the last rep when you don't have anything left. And to still maintain technique to the point to where, again, if you hadn't paused, nobody watching would even know that was hard. We explode, we maintain control, maintain focus, right? And focus means we don't get emotional and we don't flop around and we don't do stupid shit because we're afraid of the weight. means emotional detachment. Focus on what you're doing. Focus on knowing what every part of your body is doing. Be in the moment. All right, guys, well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.